Welcome to Beyond the Headlights,
where we turn our pain into purpose
and raise our voices against drunk driving.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Destiny, and today we have a special guest that I feel like, followed her story for the past year, Makenzie Lyons. And she lost her husband while on vacation in Panama City. And we're just excited to have you. I know that it takes a lot of courage and just bravery to do something like this, especially so early on. So we're definitely grateful to have you here.
Yes, definitely. So whenever I talk about Grace, I just like to talk about her first and talk about what happened later. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about Thomas?
He was like the class clown type of guy. Mm-hmm. Like, he never met a stranger. He always talked to everyone. When I first met him, I was coming out of a divorce, and he was coming out of a breakup. So it was kind of, we just went with it, and everything just fell together. I had already had a kid prior, and so I introduced them, and then everything just fell together. He is like a super goofy guy. He's a family guy for sure.
You're good. I think it's really hard to summarize the people that we love.
I know, and then
in like a 10-second blurb.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes I forget things, and then I remember, and I'm like, how did I forget that?
Yeah, like a big memory.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you did great. You did great. So can you tell us a favorite memory that you have of him?
Probably whenever we got married. We got married in Santa Rosa Beach, and that was actually a year ago. Actually going on 2 years now. And it was really last minute. He asked me to marry him the year before when we were in Panama City Beach. And then we were like, because I had already been married, so I'm like, I don't want to do the big wedding. But he hadn't been married, so he's like, I want to do the big wedding.
A compromise.
And then it was literally 2 weeks before we left to go on vacation again. I was like, what if we just got married at the beach? And he was like, yes, we're doing that. So, like, within 2 weeks, me, my mom, and my sister planned everything. And it was so nice. It was, like, a dream come true. But
well, and it's like when you know that something's meant to be, you just know.
Yeah.
You just go with it.
You don't need the big fancy wedding.
Yeah, I feel like with the big fancy weddings, you're just trying to impress other people, and I'm like, and we don't need to do that.
Feed them and entertain them.
Yeah, I'm like, that's too expensive.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And if you can, like, kind of kill two birds with one stone, per se, and, like, go on vacation.
Yeah, you got the honeymoon and the wedding.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
So you guys went on vacation around this time last year. Mm-hmm. Who all went on that vacation with you all? Was it just your little family, or?
It was me and our two daughters, Quinn and Ivy, and then my sister and brother-in-law, and they have 3 boys. Oh. And then it was my mom and my dad and my younger sister, and then my brother and his girlfriend, and they have a son and a daughter.
So it was like a big family vacation.
It was a huge, and we do it every year. Like, we rent a beach house and just go for a week. And
I was gonna ask if it was like individual condos or a beach house.
No, we had a beach house. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we do it every year, so
and
it was
all
just
the kids.
Like, so it was just another beach vacation. Yeah,
no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you been back to the beach?
Yes, we went in June for the hearing, but we stayed in Destin because we kind of all had a conversation before, like, I don't know if we want to go back there, type of thing. And so we stayed in Destin, and then we went to the court hearing, and it wasn't, I think we all thought, like, we carried this huge black cloud over that place, but we go there so much, and we go there every year, that it's just like a second home to us.
There's so many good memories there, too.
And so, and I just kept having, like, to remind myself, like, Thomas would not want us to be sad, and, like, we all loved the beach so much, and so whenever we went, it wasn't as bad as we all expected.
So for our listeners, let's go backwards, kind of rip the Band-Aid off, and just go into what happened and why you were going back there for a hearing.
Okay.
Like, starting at that day.
Okay. So on August 1st, we got to Florida, and nope, that's wrong. We got to Florida on August 2nd, and we had rented the beach house. We got there. I just remember, like, me and my sister and my mom, we went to Walmart to get, like, our groceries for the week, and we got back to the house. We made spaghetti, and my brother-in-law and Thomas were, like, brothers. They were acting dumb. They were seeing who could eat the most spaghetti in the weirdest ways. I remember they were putting it, like, on garlic bread, like, stacking it, eating it like sandwiches, putting oranges in their drinks, like, weird stuff. And so then we all decided, we're like, we don't know if it's too late to go crab hunting or not. And so the kids are like, no, let's just go. So we went, and at that time it was like 8:45, and we were like, we'll just go super quick because like we've been driving all day. We want to go to bed.
Oh yeah. So this was when you first got there.
Yeah,
first
we
day.
got to Florida, I think, around like 4, and then my sister and my mom and I went to Walmart around like 5. And so at this point we had 8. Yeah, we had 8, and we were.
But first day of vacation, you're like, we're here.
Yeah.
Let's live it up.
Yeah, and usually when we get there pretty early, so it's still like the sun setting. But this time it was dark. But we were like, the kids were like, we want to go crab hunting. So we left the house. I think it was around like 8:55 at that point, and so our house was like here, and you had to walk down a street, and then here, and then this was the main road you had to cross. And so we got to that road, and no one was coming. Like, we could see, like, other people crossing the road. And
there's, like, legit, like, I was just in Panama City, not to interrupt, but, like, there's legit crosswalks with, like, lights flashing that, like, stop. And, like,
and so there was one up here, and then right here was, like, the direct access to the beach walk. And it said, like, there's a little sign that said beach access or something like that. So we're like, well, we're not going to walk way up there. We'll just cross right here. It's literally straight across. So it was me, my mom, my sister, all of my nephews, my niece, and they were all ages from, like, at that point, they were, like, 1 to 9. And so.
Very young, very impressionable.
The only kid that wasn't with us was my younger daughter, Ivy. She was back at the house with my grandma asleep. So we just crossed the road, and then I had, like, looked, and I noticed, I'm like, that car is getting close quick. And so I was like, we need to hurry up. So then we start, like, running. The kids are running. We're all running. And my mom and my brother's girlfriend didn't cross the road with us yet. They hadn't made it, like, caught up with us yet. And so we had all crossed the road, and before, like, the white line, I don't remember this. It's just what the cops had told me. So we had crossed the white line, and I was a foot in front of Thomas, and he threw my niece because he was holding her hand. So he did throw her, and he shoved me, and when he shoved me, I also shoved my daughter Quinn and my nephew Oakley. And then he got hit. And I don't remember, like, it was kind of like I was there, but I wasn't.
It's
like,
almost an out-of-body, right?
And so.
It's crazy that you mentioned that, though, because, like, I always, like, associated, like, my, like, lack of memory for, like, my crash to like the fact that maybe there was head trauma or something, but, like, I remember nothing from, like, my crash.
and I wasn't at my daughter's crash, but we had the knock on the door. The police came to the house. But I remember it the way you're describing, like, bits and pieces. It all feels like it was a movie almost. Like I'm watching somebody else's life on a movie.
And I remember after him getting hit, I just remember, like, watching, because he flew. And so I just remember watching, and in the moment I thought it was my daughter Quinn, and so I just started running, and my brother-in-law was running with me, and afterwards he had said that he thought it was his wife that got hit. So
I can't imagine the horror that everybody was feeling.
It was scary.
And so then we both ran up there, and he got to Thomas before I did, and he stopped me, and he was like, just turn around, like, just walk, like, don't go up there. And I just still remember just, like, being there but not there. Like, I can remember all these things happening, but I can't remember, like, all the details and stuff.
How fast was the driver going?
At the time of impact, he was driving 103.
Oh my lands.
And that road is, like, usually, like,
35 people. Yeah, the speed limit was 35, and he at the time of impact was doing 103. And wild. Thomas flew 265 feet.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was like, in our, like, after everything happened, we're like, he was doing every bit of, like, 60, 75, every bit of that. And then when I remember I was at Walmart, and one of the detectives called me, and they're like, we have some more information, because I was annoying. I'm like, I want to know it.
Good for you.
Like, every detail, like, and because he was never booked. Like, he was booked and then released.
That's so hard.
And so I was just so aggravated, and I remember just calling all the time, like, has more information came up, because it was like snail pace, and I'm like, surely this moves quicker than this.
Yeah, we all think that.
And it was so infuriating. But I remember getting the call, and I was in Walmart, and they were like, do you have someone with you? And I was with my mom, and I was like, oh my gosh, what? And so he was like, we finally got the black box back from the car, and at the time of impact, he was doing 103.
That's outrageous.
And I can't wrap my mind around it still.
So going back to those first few seconds, what were you told happened with the kids? Because I'm sure you can't remember, like, who corralled the kids? There
was actually a church group that was staying at one of the other hotels, and I can't remember if she was a part of that church group or if she was just staying in the same hotel as them. But this lady came over, and she had all the kids huddled up. She was praying over them. I cannot remember. I cannot remember her name, but it was her. And then her husband was an off-duty cop from Louisiana, and so he was like up there with the guy, and I think he detained him until the cops got there.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, if he stopped or if he just kept flying through.
He stopped after 600 feet. And from what we were told, he only stopped because his airbag deployed, and so his car stopped. But also that night, like, after everything happened, it was like we all, like, a part of me just wanted to say something to him. So I don't remember what I said. I just remember, like, walking to the cop car, and I'm just, like, on a mission. And so he's already in the cop car because he said that he was fearing for his life.
As he should have.
Like,
I don't know if that's appropriate on here, but it is, okay?
Yeah. Wow. It was, I think he was scared because, like, my dad had came up there, because my dad was at the house, and my sister called my dad and was like, Thomas got hit, you need to come up here. Well, he told us, like, in his head, he's like, I thought you guys meant, like, he got in a fight.
Right.
Yeah. And so he came up there.
Yeah, I don't think you ever think the worst.
No.
When it actually really is the worst. Yeah. I think we overreact and think the worst when there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, for sure. And so he was like, I just figured he got in a fight or something. But then he got up there and he came around the corner, and everything's just there.
Chaos.
And so he, at that point, was like screaming at the guy. And so the guy was like, I'm scared for my life, for whatever reason. So then he got up in the cop car. So then in my head, I'm like, I need to say something to him. And so I just walk up to the cop car, and I'm trying. I don't think I ever even said anything. If I did, I don't really remember. I just remember the cop telling me, you need to get away from him or you're going to be detained. Yeah.
Oh, so you probably did say some choice words.
I don't remember. I wish I knew what I said.
No, you were probably on autopilot, and you just let your body take over.
Yeah. And then I remember, like, walking back to get Quinn, and my dad walked us back to the beach house, and she kind of just, like, sat on the couch because she kept asking, like, where are they taking Thomas to the hospital? We need to go to the hospital because Thomas is in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And I was still just, like, autopilot. I'm like, I don't...
Was he pronounced at the scene?
Yes. I know another person from that church group put, like, a sheet over him. Because there was people in cars trying to take videos and pictures. Crazy. Like, my sister freaked out on them. Because it was, like, they just saw everything happening, pulled in, and were, like... They were teenagers, but they had their cameras out, like, taking pictures. And I'm like... I didn't see it, but she did, and
and people are so insensitive.
It is very insensitive, and I've had the same experience personally. I've been told when I say that to people, it's like, well, especially young people, that's how they've grown up, so they're not necessarily doing it to be insensitive. Yeah. Regardless, it's super insensitive.
Yes. Yeah, it was like one of those things where I'm like, because he was. Like, thinking back on it, I'm like, he was laying there for hours because
that's crazy.
They had to come and do the pictures and the, like, everything,
all the
measurements, everything. Yes, and my dad stayed up there the whole time with him, and just, like, thinking back to, like, little things like that, like, how much he's done to us with just one thing that he's
just a moment.
Yes, like one
just a moment.
second.
So when you saw him coming, and you mentioned that it seemed like he was coming fast, it literally was like a split-second decision for Thomas,
yes.
literally, to make the decision to push,
yeah,
which caused you to push too.
Yeah. And they had told me that I was just a foot in front of him. So if Thomas wouldn't have got hit, it would have been me.
Mm-hmm.
And
you were pregnant,
and
correct?
children.
And I was pregnant, yeah. And we had just found out the week before that I was pregnant. And the weird thing is, like, I wasn't going to tell him. I was going to tell him on the beach. I was going to wait and be like, do something, you know, on the beach. But I'm like, I'm just so glad that I did tell him before. And because it was very new. I think I was like almost 4 weeks pregnant. Like, it was very new. But I knew when I was pregnant, when I woke up one morning, I'm like, morning sickness.
You're like,
yep,
this is it. Done this before.
Yeah. But I'm just glad that I told him. Yeah.
Yeah, so he knew.
Yes, he did.
And that's exciting.
Yeah.
And he was happy.
Yeah. And I had a boy, and his name's Hayes, TJ, and TJ's for Thomas Jacob. Oh. Yeah. And it's really hard because he wanted a boy so bad, and now that he's not here to experience it, sucks.
Yeah. I bet that entire pregnancy was just...
Because you're already hormonal and emotional, so going through grieving while also feeling that way.
I think I was just autopilot. Like, sometimes I still feel like that because I'm like, this isn't real. Like,
yeah. I mean, we feel like that still, do. I think.
Yeah. And, like, I go to therapy. I don't go as often now. I go only once a month now, but I was going weekly. And, like, I remember just going in there and just being like, I don't know how I'm feeling because this isn't real. It's just like another day I wake up and it's my new normal, but it's in my head, he's coming home.
Yeah, see, that's what I used to do. I told her, like, I would lie to myself. Like, if it was, like, during work hours, I'd be like, Corey's at work. He'll be home. And then when he didn't come home, like, the evenings really got me because I was like, now I can't lie. Like, he should be here next to me.
Right.
It's the things you have to do to protect yourself.
It is. It's definitely a coping mechanism, and it is your brain, and it's your brain trying to protect your heart from the reality.
Definitely, yeah.
So you had to have some tough conversations with all of those kids that were there. How did that look? Like, did you start talking to them right away? Did other people start talking to them right away? How did that look?
Like, with Quinn, I had to explain, like, he's not at the hospital. Like, he went to heaven, and she kind of still is like, she understands now, but even, like, up until, like, probably 6 months ago, she's like, when do you think Thomas is going to come home? Like, she never would, like, I think she knew, she just wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. And well, they don't understand.
Yeah, I'm like, she's 7, so.
He might be in heaven, but at what day will he come home from heaven? Yeah, like,
when's he coming home? Mm-hmm. And it was, I think now she finally grasped it, like, but with Ivy, she doesn't understand, like, if you ask her where her dad is, she'll say heaven. Like, we've explained that part to her, but she doesn't understand any of that.
Right.
And it's hard in that aspect because she doesn't know what a dad is. And, like, when other kids are around, like, with my brother and his kids, like, she'll call my brother dad because she doesn't know. And so that...
An adult male.
Yeah. And that really sucks because it's like, how do you explain to her that she doesn't have a dad?
Yeah.
Or she does, but he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that after it happened, my sister and brother-in-law explaining to my oldest nephew, because he was the same thing, like, when is Thomas coming back? And they told him, like, he didn't make it, like, he's going to heaven. And I just remember my nephew just bawling. And
that was the 9-year-old?
Yeah, he's 9. And at that point, we were all just sitting on the couch, and it was like, what do we do from here?
Yeah.
I remember
because you don't even know how to take care of yourself, much less, like, take care of these kids.
And then it was like the reality of, like, we have to tell people. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to make these phone calls and tell people. And the one phone call I remember is calling Thomas's boss because
it's so weird that you mentioned that because I was in the hospital. It triggered this memory, but I was so worried in the hospital. My mom couldn't quit, like, getting me to want to call Corey's work and tell them that he wasn't going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how
it's so sad. But, like, I was so worried about him and his job because he has such good work ethic. But, like,
I know.
What
and
did
Thomas
it matter?
had just started that job, and they were like, they had a group chat or something, and they were talking in that group chat, and I never read what they were saying. I'm just like, they probably are wondering where something is, something. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm going to have to call his boss. And so I remember that phone call and just being like, Thomas died. And they're just like,
isn't that the strangest
like, I don't know
sentence?
how to say it. And I still, like, when people are like, how do you tell people that he isn't here? I'm like, yeah. I just hope people know and they don't ask me at this point. Yeah, like, it's just one of those things. Like,
it's a terrible sentence to say out loud. Yeah, and it never even sounds right coming out of your mouth. So, no. But also, we've talked to law enforcement who have to do those notifications, and they say the best way to say it is just say it.
Yeah.
And I've also heard that when you're talking to children, the best way to say it is to just say it, because the beating around the bush part of it just builds anxiety. Mm-hmm. So, how did the next few days look for you down there on vacation? You can't leave.
We left.
You could leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they told us we had the option to stay.
Okay.
But I think my dad was like talking to the coroner, and she was like, all you have to do is figure out where we need to send its body. Mm. And so then we were like, I'm like, I don't know. Like,
you never think about that.
I don't know. And so then once we figured that out, they're like, okay, well, you guys can leave, and then we'll just fly his body there. And so a part of us was like, we want to stay until he can leave. Well, they didn't even fly him out, I think, for like 3 or 4 days. Like, it was a long time.
Yeah, and I assumed that you had to stay for the process. That's what I was thinking in my head, that you had to finish out the trip.
No, they let us leave, and because that night the homicide detective came. Actually, it was that next morning. I remember it was like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was laying in bed with Quinn, and my mom came in there, and she was like, they need you to do your interview with him, or whatever they call it.
And you're already exhausted from driving all day. Yeah. And then emotionally drained, and like from that adrenaline, like just trying to keep you going. Right. Like, I can't imagine having to do that at 3 a.m.
And I remember I'm like, what is taking so long? Because where our beach house was, in the road, you could see our whole house was lit up with lights. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, what is taking so long? Like, the kids are like just sitting there like anxious, can't go to sleep. And so then I did that interview with the homicide detective, and he said that what took so long is because they knew that he was so intoxicated that they wanted to do a blood draw.
Sure.
And so they had to order it, and then a judge had to sign off on it or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's what took so long. And then they arrested him, but then he was out of jail before we even got back to Missouri.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
What was his alcohol level?
So they did, I forgot what it's called, but they did it to where, like, at the time of how drunk he would have been at the time of impact.
Yeah. Right.
And so when they did it, it was 4 hours later, and it was 0.16.
Oh, yuck.
And then at the time of impact, it was 0.225.
Yeah.
So.
And you said that was his first offense?
Yes.
Or the first time he got caught?
First time he got caught, definitely.
Was he a Florida resident, or was he there on vacation as well?
No, he lived there. He lived in Panama City, but he worked in Destin. And so he did the same commute every day. And I think from what we know, he was at a work party. But it was...
Which goes into, like, other things that, like, was his work party able to be held liable?
Hopefully.
So you mentioned therapy. What other support have you been given?
Really just my family. We really, like, I live next door to my parents, so that was a huge help.
Yeah.
And
they were with you when it happened. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. My mom was there when it happened, but my dad, he came up later.
Right.
He was at the house.
So they helped you get back home, too?
Yes. I didn't stay at my house for, I think, 3 months. Mm-hmm. It was just, like, you know, when you leave for vacation, everywhere. Yeah, I'm like, you leave and, like, you have a clean house. You're like, I'm going to come home to a clean house. I'm like, but then I remember, like, walking through my door and, like, putting our suitcases in the door, and I'm like, okay,
what now?
Yeah. It was just, like, an overwhelming feeling of, like, okay, this is real. Mm-hmm. And I remember I couldn't stay there. It was just first of all, I'm scared of the dark. So I don't like to sleep alone.
I'm not taking the trash out in the dark. So.
And so I was like, I'll just stay with my parents because they lived right next door. So I would just go over to my house and like get clothes and stuff. But then it was like, I wouldn't even go over there to get clothes. I would just wear the same clothes.
Yeah.
I would wash them. I'm like, I'll just wear these 3 outfits for the rest of my life because I'm not going back to that house.
That's
understandable. But then therapy helps so much with, like, being able to talk to someone that wasn't there and, like, getting an outside perspective of things. And I moved back in December because we did do Christmas at my house. And that's when everything kind of started feeling normal again.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, the first night I stayed there by myself, I had horrible dreams for months of just replay of that whole night. And I remember, like, waking up and I would convince myself, like, okay, Thomas will be here in a minute. And then it's, like, a whole new reality. Okay, never mind. No, he's not.
Right.
And my family just being so close and being able to just, like, be around them all day, every day sometimes, it just helped a lot for me and my kids, definitely.
Yeah. You didn't have to feel alone, you
know?
Because, after my crash, my family moved me in with my parents because they thought that I would, struggle. So mine happened at the end of September, and I didn't move back out till December. So I had, like, a few months to where, like, I had to be surrounded by people, too.
Yeah.
But those nightmares after, like, nothing takes them away. Like, it's just repetitive,
Yes.
Once you fall asleep and you wake back up and you go back asleep again, it just starts all over. And, like, I feel like it's your brain trying to make sense of it all because it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Processing.
Mm-hmm.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, this was August 2nd of last year?
Yes.
So you've not even made it through a full year yet?
Nope. July 31st will be our 2nd wedding anniversary.
So let me just say you're doing amazing.
I'm proud of
Thank you.
And I'm not going to say that you're strong because we don't like that.
I don't want to be strong. Like, don't tell me that.
Strong is not a thing.
No.
You're upright, and I'm proud of you for being upright and
Thank
for
you.
being here. This is not something that I don't think I could do before the first anniversary. So thank you. I just want to say that multiple times because it really is a huge deal. And unless people have sat in this seat and know the stories, I don't think a lot of people can do what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people try to relate in, like, oh, I've been through that, or I've been through, and I'm like,
or I lost my cat. Like,
yes.
okay, like,
and
it's different.
Yes. And a lot of what I struggled with was, like, people are really nosy. And, like, I'm also a nosy person. But, like, not to that extent. And
I'm not going to ask inappropriate questions either. Like, the things that people have reached out and asked me, like, would blow people's minds. You know? Like, they want to know horrific details that just don't ask about.
I think the way I look at that, because I actually just did a post about that, because I do get it, I understand. I've kind of handled it differently. I do want to talk about it because it's preventable. So I look at it like, try not to, I'm not saying this to you at all, by the way. I looked at it like, every time somebody asks how it happened, I'm going to tell you the details. And you're going to squirm and it's going to be heavy because I don't ever want you to forget that this was a preventable crime.
Right.
And it is a crime. It's not an accident. It's somebody's choice. You guys were doing absolutely nothing wrong. You were having a family vacation and walking across the street. And so I know eventually that might be easier for you to do, but at the time when somebody asks those questions, you're just ripping the Band-Aid right open. And so I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Well, now, too, it's like when I say it, I feel like it's almost autopilot because it's been so long and I've had to say it so many times. It's like almost like I'm saying it about someone else.
Like a speech
I detach.
that you've...
Yeah, it's just like a quick, like, blurb, and it just, it removes the emotion, but...
I feel like I've
get hurt any less.
detached myself a lot from it because people ask, they're like, why aren't you sad? And I'm like, just because I'm not walking around bawling my eye or can't get out of bed, like, I have kids. I can't just rot in bed. And
that's
people
the thing.
have actually said that
to me too.
I know they've said it to you.
People are terrible.
I assumed that it was later that they said it to you, but you're
like,
not even 1 year in.
You haven't resorted to drugs or alcohol or anything. Like, you're so strong. And I'm like,
you have kids.
I have kids, and there's been
and
many...
what would that fix?
I'm like, then they'll be out another parent. Like, in my head, like, I'm the only parent they have, so I have to be healthy and there for them.
And people, like, there is no handbook for surviving this or going through this, and people oftentimes just don't realize that, like, you can say, like, oh, I imagine I would do this, but you just don't know until you go through it.
No, and talking about that autopilot that you went through, I would say the first year I felt like I was autopilot. So I think that your body, like we said, does take over just to get you from one date to the next. You wake up, you do what you have to do, you go to bed, maybe you sleep, maybe you don't. You wake up, you do it again, and then before you know it, it's the 1 year. I talked at the beginning about I wish I had a trial to sit through so I could focus on something. You had a trial, so do you want to talk about your experience with that?
I feel like that helped me with, like, anger, because I was so angry all the time, and I just put everything into that, and I would annoy the shit out of those people. I'm like, what else has happened? Like, it's been 2 weeks now, and I haven't heard anything, and it would be like, oh, well, we found this out. Did no one call you? I'm like, no, and, like, I want to know. And so then they finally explained, they're like, most people in this type of thing, they don't want to know. They don't want to know details. They don't want to know, like, XYZ.
Again, going back to everybody grieving differently.
Yeah,
and I was like, I wanted to know, too, because I couldn't remember anything. So, like, I couldn't remember what Parker was wearing, or, like, I remembered we wanted to stop at a gas station, and I was like, why didn't we? But then, like, later when you look at documents and stuff, like, Corey forgot his wallet at home, and I never... Like, I lose everything, so I never have my debit card. And so, like, tap to pay wasn't a thing then. And so, like, that would be, like, why we didn't stop. But, like, knowing those details helps you piece together everything of, like, those sporadic memories you have.
Finally, like, knowing the speed of what he was driving helped me so much, because I'm like, why were we walking across the street so slow? If the speed limit's 35, what the hell were we doing? Like, what were we doing?
Yeah.
And because in my head, I'm like...
you instantly try to make it your fault, that you must have been doing something wrong.
I'm like, why were we all walking so slow? Why didn't we run? Like, what are we doing? Because I remember, like, at the end when I'm like, he's driving really... Like, that's getting close. And so then we all started running. But I'm like, why didn't we run the whole way? And when they finally told me, they're like, the speed limit, the 103, I'm like, that makes so sense how he, like, got here to here so fast. And that helped me a lot, because I blamed myself so much, because I'm like, and then we all went through, like, why did we go crab hunting? Why didn't we tell the kids no? Like, if we would have waited a minute longer. And it's just so many what ifs that drove me nuts. And so once everything started, like, piecing together with the trial stuff, I'm like, okay, this makes more sense. This guy just is awful. He drank so much, chose to drive that fast, and then we were just the ones that got in the way.
And you mentioned off air that you gave a statement to the court. Was that a victim statement?
No, that'll be at his sentencing on August 12th, but the one on June something, it was just me getting in front of the court saying that we agreed to not charge him with the second-degree murder.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
And that was because it was just another long, drawn-out process, and we sat with the lawyers, and we all just agreed that we're all trying to get to a place of, like, healing, and then if that takes a year or two, and then we have to go back to trial and rip all of that back open, like, that's not healthy for any of us.
Yeah.
So we chose to just do the charges that he has now.
And what were those charges?
DUI, manslaughter, and vehicular homicide.
Okay. Yeah. And what is his sentencing going to entail?
He'll be charged for that, and then he'll get sentenced for 15 years. But in the state of Florida, he will probably only serve 85%, which I think they told us is 12.7 something with good behavior. So maybe he'll act up and have to stay for 15 years.
Maybe.
Crossed.
I know, right? Like, how can we...
how can we do this?
My question for you was going to be, so did you have to go down to Florida for every hearing? How did you handle that?
We had the option to. The first one we zoomed into was they continued it so many times, and so I'm like,
that has to be infuriating in itself. Like,
and every time I'm like, okay, maybe something new will happen this time. Maybe something, and they're like, it's going to continue for a very long time, because he wanted to go to trial, because he didn't know all the evidence that they had stacked against him. And so for the longest time, it was just drawn out. And then finally we were actually in Florida, and we came to go to the court hearing because we're like, we just want to be there because they're like, they were going to arrest him on that second-degree murder charge.
Okay,
and
so let's go back there. So, like, most people would think that he would get arrested on scene, which he probably did, but you would think that he would stay in jail. So, was he arrested and then released? Like, how did that look after?
Well, since we agreed to not do the second-degree murder charge, he didn't get arrested. But that was, like, we went down to Florida full intention of, because we're like, we want to see him get arrested. And I will walk wherever he's going to watch him get arrested. Like, I don't care. And so, but then we got to Florida, and then we got a phone call, and they were like, he's willing to plead guilty. And I'm like, this is because of the second-degree murder charge. Mm-hmm. And because with the second-degree murder charge comes a potential life sentence. Not that he would have got that, they told me, but...
Right.
So I'm like, to me, I was more angry at, like, the prosecutor and stuff, because I'm like, why are you bringing this up if he's not going to get the life sentence? Yeah. Like, if he's just going to get 5 or 10 years more.
Right.
And so...
So how long was he free, like, after he was initially released? Like, how long was he walking around?
He's still out.
Oh, my...
He never got rearrested.
Stop.
Yeah. He'll be arrested on August 12th, and that's when his sentencing will start.
So he probably drives, even though they probably suspended his license.
I think he suspended his... they suspended his license, but I think that he works from home. I'm assuming. Because... unless he's just out driving when he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
He hasn't been caught or anything, so...
Did they do, like, house arrest or anything? Was he...
He was released on his own recognizance. Because he has no priors.
That is wild.
Yeah, it is. That's hard.
Mm-hmm. And I remember, like, when we went to the court hearing, he was there. And I'm assuming, like, his fiance, maybe, wife, I don't know. And I just remember just staring at him like, this is who killed Thomas.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Yeah, and then you almost wonder, do you hurt?
Yeah.
Is this bothering you?
Did he seem remorseful at all?
His lawyer told me, or said in his speech that he was sorry, but...
Yeah, sorry, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that do?
I feel like he's only even having, like, a little bit of remorse because that second-degree murder charge was brought up. Because up until that point, he never said anything or was willing to help with anything at all. So...
Had you had any experiences with court outside of this, or was this your first?
This is my first.
And what's your opinion of, I mean, the continuances we think are bull.
Yes,
complete
I agree.
Bull.
They explained it to me like they want every single detail because once it's there, they can't go back and be like, oops, forgot this. And so I get that part, but it was like, it's going to be a year and 2 weeks. And if we wouldn't agree to let him do the guilty plea, like, we would still just be the start of everything.
Yeah, my lawyer told me that, like, expect 2 years or longer if there's a case. Ours was over in just a couple months because there was nothing to do because she died as well. But 2 years, like, I couldn't imagine even going through it for a year. Like, I'm personally grateful I didn't have to do the trial knowing what I know now. Because it just seems so triggering. Not that everything isn't triggering, but that specifically. And the anger, like, knowing that he's walking around right now,
absolutely.
that infuriates me for you.
Yeah.
It's scary, too, because what if it happens again?
And he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember. He thinks he fell asleep. And so a big reason that I want to talk at sentencing is because I want him to know what we know. Like,
absolutely, you should.
The stuff that we had to see and, like, I had to go through. Like, I remember the one thing that I don't think I'll ever get over is, like, whenever I went back to the beach house, my daughter went to the couch, and I was, like, in my head, I was shaking. I just felt so cold. I'm like, I need to take a bath. I need to take a bath. So I went up to where my parents' room was, because there was a huge bathtub in there, and I remember just, like, standing in front of the mirror, and I'm covered in blood. And I'm just standing there, like...
And you probably didn't know that before.
No, I didn't, and, like, my daughter didn't say anything or anything, so I don't know if it just didn't register what it was to her. But I remember just standing there, like...
She was probably in shock, too.
And then you almost probably feel bad, if, like, just thinking back to that, like, washing it off almost, you know? Like, it almost, like, that also feels rough. Like, you know you're supposed to, but...
Yeah, I remember just, like, sitting in the bathtub with my knees up and just sitting there. And then my mom came in there and she's like, you need to get out of the bathtub. Because the water was freezing. And she was like, you need to get out of the bathtub. And I was just like sitting there.
I had to be
in the
bathed
thick of
and
shock.
showered for like probably the first 2 weeks, like, because I couldn't even like shower myself. I just like didn't
That's
care.
how, once I got home, I was just like, I'm just so thankful that my parents were there, because I'm like, I did not take care of my kids. I was there, but I wasn't.
You weren't mentally there.
No, and like they still, like, Ivy and Quinn, like, they would sleep with me, and we shared a bed in one of my parents' extra rooms, and so it was nice, like, having them there. But I just remember, like, just thinking back now, being in such a better place now, just thinking back, I'm like, I was just a zombie. Like, I don't remember anything. Like, Ivy turned 3. I don't remember her birthday. And, like, just things like that you don't realize affect you so much until someone asks you a question. You're like,
wow,
I don't remember. Like, I
don't remember the funeral at all. And that was probably 4 days after, I think. I don't remember any of that.
There's so many people that my mom's like, did you talk to them at visitation or the funeral? I'm like, they were there. Like, I don't remember. And I think I just, like, shut all of that off. And I do remember, like, going to the funeral home, because we had to pick out, like, the casket and stuff like that. And I remember them calling me and telling me, like, you guys have to pick out the casket, the flower, like, all this stuff. And I'm like,
I don't want to do that.
I don't care.
It's
that
so
was
much
me.
to do
Yeah.
in such a short period of time when you can't even remember how to spell your name.
Yeah.
We have a headstone that's taller than me, because I feel like in a way it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I felt like they took advantage of me in this situation because it was extremely expensive. But like, I did the same thing. I don't care. I don't want to pick it.
Yeah.
I do not care. I'm pretty sure my husband now picked out pictures to help put on there, because I just did not care like what it looked like, because that isn't a quick process either, getting a headstone, it takes
we haven't,
a long
like,
time.
we keep saying, like, we're gonna go this way, we haven't even went, because I'm like, I don't know, and I don't care. And like, it's not in the way of, like, I don't care for him, it's just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to put myself through that, and I know that it'll trigger me, and so I avoid, like, I don't go to the cemetery that much.
Me neither.
Because, and he is buried down the same road that I live on, and so he's right there, and so I don't know if it's just, like, the comfort of him, like, being there.
You have to face your reality if you go there. Like, you can't lie to yourself anymore. Because even, like, almost 11 years out, I still don't like going, because then, like, it's real. And, like, of course it's real. Like, I have a husband and, like, 2 kids. Like, it's real. But, like, I can't try to forget about it or try to push it to the back of my mind.
The ways that we trick our brain, those will continue forever. I think that you get better at tricking your brain, because I think that's how you cope. Like, you don't want to... You know where he's at. Yeah. You don't need to go see where he's at, because he's still where he's at.
Right.
And I don't think there's and I don't think there's anything wrong.
We have morbid humor. I shouldn't laugh.
No, I do the same.
It helps you heal.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with making excuses to get you through the day.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
So you have to.
And I don't make a connection there. Like,
yes.
And so I don't feel like just sitting there does anything for me. Like, I'll go up there and I'll, like, put stuff on his grave and stuff like that. But it's not like
you don't have to go there to talk to him.
It's like going to, like, somewhere where you had a good memory would mean more than the than the cemetery.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah.
What surprises you about grief? Was this your first big loss, or had you been through something else?
I would say just, like, how people treat me, like, walking on eggshells and everything. Like, I don't like that. I want you to treat me completely normal. I don't want you to act like, or like the whispers, or like,
I felt like a charity case.
Yes,
like, people were so worried they were gonna break me, and I'm like, I'm already broken. I'm surviving.
Like, when you walk into a room, you can almost feel the air get sucked out.
Yeah.
Or, like, everybody looking at you, or everybody looking away too.
Yeah.
It's all of those things, and people don't think you notice it, but you feel it.
I have a really strong friend group, and so we all, like, have the same, like, sense of humor and stuff like that, and, like, they know when to be sensitive and they know when to not to be, and I appreciate that so much, just because I feel like other people that don't know me so well, but they know about what happened, it's like they're afraid they're gonna say something, I'm just gonna break down. And I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna say I'm strong. But that I'm not, like...
Me, like, before, like, if I was sad, like, my family knew not even to touch me or hug me, because, like, I would just cry more. So I would always be like, don't touch me. But, like, even now, like, I will try to not cry in front of anyone, like, ever. Like, and not that it's bad, but it's, like, protecting me, I guess.
Yeah, I think that... And I haven't had, like, that breakdown cry moment. Like, I'm still, like, I'll get, like, worked up and I'll cry and stuff, but I haven't had, like, that big, like, breakdown that everyone's like, it'll come, like, it'll hit you.
You want to know when
like,
mine came?
Maybe
Year 8.
Yeah, maybe.
Really?
Year 8,
and it may not come. I think that I felt so frustrated in the beginning because people kept giving me books and pamphlets with, like, what to expect when you're expecting, except what to expect when you're grieving.
Probably written by somebody who never even lost anyone.
Right.
Like,
yeah. But all of it was wrong because you're individual, you're human, and so how you handle it, you may never have the big breakdown.
Right.
It may happen right after the trial. You just don't know. And I think that that's where we constantly talk about being kind to each other and supporting each other. However it looks for you may not look the same for me.
Right.
And that's okay because there's no right or wrong ways of handling it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I know people are like, have you had, like, your moment? Like, do you need him? And I'm like, I
ended up working myself so hard for so long. Like, I just poured into, like, working that, like, that's all I focused on. So, like, I didn't give my brain a chance to sit and think about anything. And then year 8, I felt like I broke. And I was like, oh, guess I should have did therapy way sooner. Should have probably faced this way sooner because it hurts really bad. It's not fun.
Yeah, I put off therapy for a few months, and my mom actually started going first, and she was like, you should really go. And I'm like, no. Like, what is this lady going to know about anything?
She hasn't lost her husband.
Yeah, I'm like, she doesn't know. But my therapist she's so, like, understanding in ways that people that were there aren't, and so that helps me a lot too. And I can joke about it, like, she has dark humor, so I'm like, I can cope that way and her not be like, oh, you need
I leave my therapy appointment, I was like, I don't know if this is professional, but I feel like I need to hug you every time I leave, and I'm not a hugger, but thank you.
You're a lifesaver.
You're literally saving me. Are there any things that your kids do now, or, like, even, like, your nieces and nephews that they'll say or do that catch you off guard? Because, like, my kids came after, like, the crash, so that wasn't even, it's their family, but it's not, you know, they didn't know them. But, like, sometimes even, like, my son, like, he'll be, like, he's watched stuff behind the scenes of, like, watching a trailer for the documentary or hearing me listen to something like this. So, like, they pick up even if I don't feel like they are. And, like, he will, like, crash, like, his toy truck and I'd be like, oh, baby Parker went to heaven. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, like, they're getting it. You know, like, have your kids done anything or, like...
My kids are very blunt, and so are my little niece and my nephews. And so, like, sometimes they'll just be, like, talking about something, they'll be like, well, Thomas is dead. And it's just, like, one of those things where you're just like...
Yeah, they just blurt it out.
Yeah, but it's, like, it's so blunt that we laugh about it. And I'm like, I know. We shouldn't laugh about it, but it's just one of those things, like, they're kids and this is how they deal with it. Yeah. So it makes it lighthearted for us. And, like, Ivy, she'll say, like, her dad's in heaven, or, like, my little niece, she'll be like, Ivy, your dad's dead. That's my dad. Like, when she calls her dad, if Ivy calls my brother her dad. Yeah. And so it's just, like, things like that it's like, okay, this is real. But it's, like, so lighthearted that it's funny to us. And I'm like, none of us take it
You have to laugh about it, because what else are you going to do? Cry? You know, and you're probably, you know, you don't want to cry forever.
No, no. And I'm not a crier, and so I even told my therapist once, I'm like, am I just broken? Because I don't cry. And I'm like, and I feel like because I'm like, I need that one big moment, that one big breakdown that everyone keeps telling me, it's going to come, and it hasn't came yet. I'm like, so I don't know. And she's like, no, she's like, it'll come. And it's just like, you just got to go through the motion. You have to go through everything. You have to go through...
Yeah, and I feel like the first year is like a fog. Like, year 2, reality sets in, and you're like, oh, crap. Like,
you're
this
still
is real.
So early.
Like, like, the trial will be over, and, like, you've already made it through the first birthdays and holidays, and, like, that reality sets in, and then, like, I don't know, it makes it a little tough.
think, too, like, especially... So I'm only 26 months out, so I'm still fairly new, too. But I think at the beginning, there are so many things... not to look forward to, but so many things to distract you. Yeah. Like the arrangements and then the trial. And now you have August, what date is it? 12th. So your mind is on that and what you're going to say and all of those details. And then it'll be the next thing. And that's how I got through. Like, I would focus on the next thing. And then now those next things are starting to slow down. So I'm feeling like renewed anxiety from it, because now I'm feeling like it's all slipping away from me. That was like the last thing I had to hold on to.
Right.
And now I don't. So I think each season that you go through is going to give you a new opportunity to grieve differently.
Yeah.
You're just still in the first season. So.
Yeah.
When is Thomas's birthday?
October 27th.
Okay, so that was really quick after, because that was like a big trigger for me, was like the birthdays, and then obviously holidays were hard too, but birthdays and like the accident date. So that 1 year mark.
Yeah, and I feel like since we came to the agreement on not like pushing trial forward, that was like a sense of relief in a way for all of us. Like we all agreed on it, because we sat at the table. It was me, my sister, my brother-in-law, my mom, and my mother-in-law, and we all agreed like this is what's best for everyone as a whole. Like as much as we want this guy to rot in prison, that's not an option, and so we have to do what's best for us. And I think once we decided on that, I kind of got like that sense of relief, like okay, he's finally gonna go to prison. And then I remember after that they called me and they're like, you have to decide on how long he gets to get his affairs in order. I'm like, he's had a year. He has had a year.
You're like, he didn't have any time to get yours in order.
And so he wanted 120 days.
No.
And I was like, what's the lowest amount of days that this man can get? And they're like 30. I'm like, that's what he gets.
That's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he's still walking around. You know? Like I would rather it be like counted as time served already than having him out. You know, like that's not fair.
And you didn't get any time. So to give him any amount of time, I think it should be sprung on him. Like at the worst possible.
Just breaking his house.
A family
take him
right
now.
On a family vacation.
In the middle of the
snatch
sleep.
him away.
Literally. I'm like, the worst way possible, do it. Like and there for a while, like I started feeling like, okay, maybe he is remorseful. Like maybe he's just had like a really rough life and he just had a rough night. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
Because you're a good person.
Yeah, I'm like, this is life. Like, you...
The reality is it doesn't matter because it doesn't bring Thomas back.
No.
So it's irrelevant.
Yeah. And I think once I finally, like, got my mindset to he's not coming back, like, nothing that I do is going to change that.
Yeah. You were able to accept your reality.
Yeah.
Because that's what it did for me. Like, I was crying and I was so angry. Like, probably the first month, like, it took me, like, 30 days of, like, just being... I feel like almost crazy, like psycho. Like I couldn't like sleep or anything, and like that month mark, I was like, okay, like I can't cry enough or get mad enough to bring him back. So like this is just what it is. So what do I do now?
Yeah,
and started moving forward. Like
I think once I finally accepted that, I'm like, okay, this is just how it is. Because there for a while, I was just in such denial. I'm like. And then I was thinking, like, what am I going to tell my kids? Like, and then I'm like, well, Ivy's dad's not going to walk her down the aisle. Like, Hayes isn't ever going to have a dad. And, like, I remember whenever Thomas and I were thinking of having another kid, he was like, I hope it's a boy, because he was really big into football in high school. So he's like, I really want a boy to be in football. Yeah. So now I'm like, I don't live in a school district where there's football. So I'm like, do I need to move? So
like,
it's
fulfill that dream for
and
him.
it's just, like, things like that I'm like, it sucks because... It's a huge decision to make that he's not here for, and I have to make it on my own.
And it's unfair.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. It's just unfair.
Yeah. I mean, people don't realize how expensive something like this is, too. Like, do they pay for you guys to come to trials, or do you have to do that yourself?
We have paid for it out of pocket, but maybe eventually we'll get some money. I don't know. We're still working on the civil side of things, so that's still an ongoing thing, but...
That's wild.
It's... just like thinking of like everything that we have to do to get to the end is just like mind-blowing. It's and it's all of us, because like all of us want to be a part of it. Like my mom and my sister and brother-in-law, like we're all going to Florida again. And that's
such a blessing.
I
hope you recognize how wonderful that is.
And I think it like there's moments where we fight, but it's
your
like,
family.
But it's like this has like bonded us in a way that like it sucks, but it's like what it is, and we've all been through it. So whenever one of us is having a moment or an off day, like we're like, okay, maybe they're just thinking of something, or like especially my brother-in-law, like he went in through the thickest part of it. Like he actually went up and saw Thomas, and so
you said they were so close.
Yeah,
so, like,
they were really
have
close.
To remember that and see that forever.
And it's just like just thinking back on everything that one moment has led to. It's just.
This was just my take on what you're saying, because my family is also very close. They helped me with everything. All the kids made all the decisions. But at the same time, it almost hurt me more, because I felt like as bad as I feel, they all feel that bad too.
Yeah.
And it almost added another layer of pain, you know, like you know how bad this hurts. We all know how bad this hurts. Your family and your kids know how bad this hurts. And I hate it for you. I hate it for them. Yeah. But I am thankful that they're so close and so involved with you.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, because there was times where like, this is your decision, or like, he was your husband, but I'm like, he's also your guys' family. You guys all saw it too. We were all there, like all of our kids, and it's just one of those things that's like, we're all bonded by it, but it's like the worst way possible.
Yeah, you hurt for them. How has this changed your opinions on DWIs and repeat offenders and all of the, it's a big question, but how, like, the court level, the personal level, has it changed your opinion of that, or did you have an opinion before?
I didn't really have much of an opinion before.
That was
like,
us.
It was just like, oh my God, those people drunk drivers, stupid. But like, it wasn't like, it never affected me to this point, so I never gave it another thought. But now it's like, people like seeing people out. I've come from a very small town, so I'm like, even like seeing people out like driving, I know that they're driving and they're drinking. I'm like,
and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm like, hopefully they're not like super drunk driving. And then I'm like, do I offer to drive for people? But I'm like, that's not my responsibility. But then also I'm like, there's Ubers, there's Lyft, there's so many things now that it's like, there's not an excuse. And I think before I wasn't so mindful for that. I was like, one of our friends will drive us home if we're drinking, it's fine. Yeah. But I'm like, now it's like, okay, we have to have a sober driver before we even make plans. Yeah. And all of my friends are like that, luckily, too. Like, that's good. They fell in line, basically. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, and it's one of those things that where it's like, if we have plans, someone's sober. But before it was, I never gave it another thought. Yeah,
that's how I was too. You know, I feel like I was growing around like drugs and alcohol too. So like, it just, I was a kid. I didn't really, like, I knew it was bad.
You really were a kid though. So she was only 22.
21.
21.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But I hadn't even been drunk yet.
Yeah.
I had never been drunk yet. Because like I was at home nursing a baby. So
yeah.
Yeah, but it's not your problem until it's your problem. And I think a lot of us look at it like that. Like, I wouldn't drink and drive, but I know they only had like 2, so they're probably okay.
Yeah,
like
they're fine. Yeah.
Or he's an alcoholic. He's drank his whole life. He's never crashed, so he's going to be fine. He's
good, yeah. But now I'm like, I think like people that I know that drink and drive all the time, I'm like, did this not wake you up? Like,
how do you not care?
But I'm not like going to go out of my way and be like, hey, my husband died from drunk driving. Like, you know, because you're his friend. But here you are, still drunk driving.
It's just not... I don't think it's personal.
Yeah.
I think they think that they'll do better. Yeah. They won't let that happen.
They won't get caught. Or
they think they're good enough. Yeah. They've probably done it so many times before that they feel like they're good enough at it and they can manage it. But in reality, you don't really know what you're doing.
No, because I'm like, I never expected this. I didn't expect to be a widow at 28 years old. I'm like, but that guy decided to drink and drive because he thought he could also make that same drive.
I think that's why I was so drawn to like you and like your story, like knowing that like you were like local-ish and like young too. Like when I first entered like widowhood, like there was nobody my age, like nobody understood.
You shouldn't be a widow in your 20s.
I know, like nobody got it, and like I felt so alone. Like there was literally like no one. Like there weren't even hardly meeting places for older people, let alone young people. And
I know there's like a lot of people reached out to me about like groups at like churches and stuff, but I'm like, it's like alcoholics and drugs and then me, and I'm like, I'm not going to that. Yeah,
it's different.
And the weirdest thing that I've went through so far is like filling out paperwork, and it's like your relationship status, and you have to put widow, and I'm like, they're gonna think I'm lying. They're gonna think I'm lying.
Or you're like, I didn't choose to be widowed. Why can't I still mark like married?
Married,
like,
I know.
I'm still married. Like I didn't choose to end
That's a good point.
I know, and it's just weird thinking because I'm like, you're just not married one day.
And then like when I got remarried, which was like tough in itself, I didn't want to get rid of my last name, but like I knew like on a respect level I should still have my husband now's last name.
Right.
So I pushed my old last name to like my middle name. So now legally it looks like I have 2 middle names, but I still never dropped that last name because like I didn't choose to end it. Right. I didn't want to end this.
Yeah,
like,
I get that
so
completely.
It's still there, you know, and it feels good. My driver's license looks a bit clustered, but who cares?
A lot of letters.
So much.
A lot of vowels, actually, for hers.
So many.
If somebody was listening and wanted to live more like Thomas did, what would you recommend? You said he was really outgoing and fun. And is there anything in particular? Yeah, good dad.
I feel like he just flew by the seat of his pants. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
He was just really spontaneous, and coming from like my previous marriage to him was just like a breath of fresh air to me, because try to be spontaneous. I try to just go with the flow, and he was just that, and it was just easy. It was just like he came into my life, and it was just that
it was meant to be.
Yeah, and it just sucks now because it's like I was just so sure, and I finally got that moment with someone, and then it was just gone. And it's like,
I feel that.
It's, I mean, it's just something you don't know how to put into words, really.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he was really spontaneous, super fun. He had a lot of friends. He, like most days, literally was the most wrecking ball person ever.
But I think, looking back, without knowing him, living his life for whatever that timeline was, even though it was short, it sounds like he fit a lot into those years and made the most of them.
Oh, yeah,
that's
definitely.
a good legacy.
Yeah, yeah. He is definitely known for saving my life and our kids.
Yeah, he's a hero.
And I know that if it was the other way around and he would have lived and one of us died, like, that would have destroyed him. And
I often say the same thing. I am so glad that it's me that has to live through this pain and like the trauma and stuff than them ever having to feel a day of it. Like if we were destined to be apart, I want to live through the pain and not them.
I've said that too, just because I know how like devoted Thomas was to like me and Quinn, and then Ivy came along and he was just like incredible. He was such a good dad. And so I know, like, with me not being there, he was so dependent on me for things. And I don't know, women are just stronger in that aspect.
And women get more support. Like, there's just more support for women than there are men. There just
definitely
isn't support.
And he wouldn't have been, like, going to therapy. He wouldn't have went through the motion. He would have just been a zombie for the rest of his life. I just know how he is. And I say that all the time, too. Like, I'm glad that I'm the one that has to work through this and not him, because my kids would have lost another parent because he wouldn't have been there or present. Yeah. I just know that's how it would have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that.
Well, I know, just speaking for myself, I would love to catch up with you again in a couple years just to see how your journey has shaped out and how the kids are doing and the family. I think you're very inspiring.
Thank
you. For what it's worth, I really am proud of you for being able to juggle all the responsibilities that you've had thrown in your lap suddenly. Yeah. I think just from the few minutes we've talked, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll definitely update the listeners like after August 12th.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
To get like an update to see like how you're doing or how that went and kind of recap some of that. And Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know this was tough. You did great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was looking forward to it though, because I'm like, I know some people like want to know that don't want to ask.
Yeah.
And at the very beginning, we were pushing so hard for people to know about like the story and justice for Thomas and stuff like that, and then it just didn't work out in our favor. The justice system sucks, but it is what it is, and we're moving forward.
Yeah. And regardless of what justice looks like, because I was told at the beginning, like, people kept pressing me, what do you want justice to be? Yeah. Like, I don't know, but it's got to be something. There's got to be something. Yeah. So justice may not look like what you expected, but it is something.
Something, yeah.
And keep telling your story.
Yeah.
People need to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
We hope today's episode brought you comfort, understanding, and a renewed sense of hope. If you found value in our conversation, please consider sharing this podcast with someone who might benefit from it.
Until next time, hold on to hope, honor the memories of those that you love, and take one step at a time toward healing. You're not alone on this path. Take care and be well.